Everyone, thanks for watching today. So I thought I'd do a short video to share some information with you today that I actually discovered in the last 2 weeks. I knew about it already, but I didn't know the level of detail, and it really got me excited, so I thought it was great information to share. So I want to talk to you guys today about two products. One is the Supra Detox by Sizzle, and the other one is Balance D. So let's start with the Supra Detox. So Supra Detox is a product that's designed to cleanse your body, and it's designed to detoxify your body. It helps to remove mucoid plaque. It helps to eliminate bodily toxins and also enhance your nutritional supply. So you might wonder, how could it do that? How would that work? Well, we actually develop over time a thing called mucoid plaque, and it actually builds up as we age. Now, if you jump onto Google and you search for mucoid plaque, and you end up on Wikipedia, it'll say, oh, this is fake, it's pseudo, that's fake science, there's no such thing. But if you then check other references on mucoid plaque, and I've got a quote here from a site, that it's important to recognize that some modern pathologists actually refer to mucoid plaque as either the mucoid cap or may just refer to it as mucus. So what actually is, and I'm going to call it mucoid plaque for this talk. So what actually is mucoid plaque? So in reality, it's actually a mixture of epithelium cells, fibrin, mucus, other things like digested food particles, bacteria, inflammatory cells, and it actually forms a coating over the damaged areas of the gastrointestinal tract. So what actually causes damage to our intestinal tract? So toxins in our food, chemicals, food irritants, so foods that actually don't agree with you, that your body's immune system in response can create this mucus. And you might have heard people say, oh, dairy's mucus forming. And what they mean by that is that when people sometimes eat dairy, the body produces this extra mucus in the intestinal tract, as well as maybe some people might even get a flow-on effect and maybe experience snotty nose and things like that, or in their throat as well. So you can imagine if you're actually getting mucus in your throat from dairy, then it would make sense you're going to have it happening in your intestinal tract as well. So how did they know that this actually occurs? I read a study that said they did some tests on rats, and when they poured ethanol on the rats, that the intestinal tract responded immediately and producing all this mucus. And so they know kind of how it builds up. But what's also interesting, and I don't have the photos to share on the screen, although I should have prepared and got them, but I don't know if you can see, I want to show you in this picture. Let's see if you can see. So you can see there's some mucoid plaque there, and there's a length of a ruler that's come out of someone's colon. And then on the left side, that's the inside, a camera inside the intestinal tract. And what you can see, that little kind of peak there, it's like the intestinal tract has like sort of peaks and troughs, and then it's made up a part of that. They also have these little things called villi. And the villi are responsible for absorbing nutrients in food. And now if the villi then get coated in this plaque, nutrients are not going to get absorbed. And that includes food, nutrition from your food, and also if you're taking vitamins, minerals, supplements. So some people have said, they may not get results, say, for instance, with the H pill. So if I just kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent, the H pill is designed to digest in the intestinal tract. You want to take it before food with water. It's got an enteric coating, and it releases into the first part of the intestinal tract, the small intestine. But could you imagine that if your intestinal tract was coated like that picture I just showed you, you're not going to get very much absorption and not get great results like what other people could who had a kind of digestive tract that was a lot more free from mucoid plaque. So it's really important to, I think, to do a cleanse, and it just helps to get things moving and clear out any backlog that you've got in your digestive tract. Now, Tom Senior actually said you may actually need to do it more than once, and maybe you want to space that out because there's a backlog, a buildup. So he said every time you do it, you'll get a good result. And then, maintenance, you might be looking at once, 3 times a year or a couple times a year or something like that. So that's really interesting to note as well. So I wanted to share about the mucoid plaque because it was really interesting, and I couldn't understand why when you looked on the internet that it said it wasn't real, when of course you can see all these pictures that make it look really quite real, and they are real. Okay, so now what happens? Okay, you've got rid of the mucoid plaque. What about the good bacteria in your gut? So our gut microbiome is made up of good and bad bacteria and all this balance and these colonies. And so it's really important to have a good bacteria supply coming in. Now, Tom Senior said on a call just this past week, and I'm going to include the link down here. So if you did miss the call, jump on and listen to it. Have a listen because the information is unbelievable. So getting back to the bacteria, so he said that if you take antibiotics, or if you've ever taken antibiotics, then you've basically destroyed the good bacteria in your gut, and it will not repopulate by itself. It's just not going to happen. You have to intervene and give something extra, i.e. a good quality probiotic, to support the body to help repopulate the gut. So I found that really interesting. It's also important to note that 75 to 80% of the immune system actually comes from the gut, and that serotonin is also produced in the gut, and that is a neurotransmitter for the brain and helps to regulate mood. So again, another important point. So it's really key to be taking a really good probiotic. A couple of testimonials. So I was actually getting a rash on my hand before I actually started taking the Balance D regularly, and then since taking it, it's completely gone. And another person in the team, Chris, I'm sure he won't mind me sharing his testimonial. So I was speaking to him, he was suffering from hay fever, and I said, well, why don't you try the Balance D? And so he tried it that night, and then the next day, and then his hay fever all cleared up. And that's because, you know, the gut is where it all starts with immune issues. So you can develop all sorts of autoimmune issues due to, you know, gut issues. And so we really want to come in and support that by providing a really good quality probiotic. Now you might think, oh, well, I'm already taking one and, you know, this is fine. But when we actually did a comparison of ours to another popular brand, we found quite a few interesting things. Well, firstly, compared to another brand, our product is half the price or less. And the Sizzle Balance D product is 20 times more powerful. So in another product, if you're looking at 30 billion colonies as the actives, in our particular product, the Balance D, we have 525 billion colonies. So super powerful. Other brands might be using a cheap strain of the bacteria, a cheaper version. We have a really high quality version in ours. And the other thing is that we actually have 3 types of prebiotics in our product, whereas other products may only have 2. So really important to note all that. So I think when you do the comparison, it's quite convincing that you would want to be taking the Balance D product instead. Also, Balance D has extra bonus in it. You get the vitamin D, and you also get some fiber in there as well. So often people are not consuming enough fiber. For healthy digestion and gastrointestinal tract, women need to be consuming 25 grams of fiber a day and men 35. So if you're not consciously aware of that and doing a fiber count, and you're not going to the toilet, you know, regularly, you know, a good amount is at least once a day is a good amount, then you're probably not getting enough fiber. So after doing your cleanse, introducing the probiotic, bump up your fiber a little bit. Do it gently, because if you increase your fiber too much, you can get like really upset tummy. You do need to drink more water, but find some foods that are really gentle to your gut. So I'll suggest some foods perhaps that you could try. You could try avocado. A whole avocado is very gentle. It has lots of good fats, and it is also high in fiber. Other things people do is they make chia seed puddings. So you can buy that from your supermarket, and you can look up a recipe. So there's a couple right there. What else? People take linseed meal. So that's great to help with increasing fiber intake. Of course, lots of fruit and vegetables, lots of vegetables. And so you really then help to increase that fiber in your diet and support the good bacteria so that you can help maintain it as best you can. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is what are the sort of things that actually impact your gut and reduce the good bacteria. Aside from antibiotics, other things that impact it are things like refined sugar, processed corn syrup. We mentioned agricultural chemicals such as the glyphosate in Roundup, which all foods sprayed with it, unless of course you're eating organic. We already talked about what happens if you take antibiotics, but even if you've never taken antibiotics, if you have been eating meat from the supermarket, then a lot of those animals have been treated with antibiotics, and so you're actually now getting that in your food. Other things that can affect it is medications, just general pollution in the air. Of course, we genetically modified foods, you really want to avoid those as much as possible. And finally, with water, drinking water, you've got chlorine and fluoride, so chlorinated and fluoridated water. That actually has a negative impact on gut flora and can lead to imbalances. And then the other two, and there's probably more on this list, but gluten can upset people, and another thing called lectins. So plants produce poisons as a protective mechanism, particularly things like legumes and grains and stuff like that. So it's really important that we prepare these as well as we can, either soaking or appropriate cooking times to break those down. But even after doing that, some people may still have an inability to digest them. And that's where we want to come back to looking at something like Balanced D to support the body and aid digestion and just make your tummy overall happier. So really important information. So hopefully you enjoyed that, but actually before I finish, let me just read out a couple more things. Now, we can't make claims on our products at all. We can talk about the ingredients and what they can do. This particular information was from Healthline, and it just talks about the things that probiotics may support the body and help the body. Again, it's not our product, but it's just talking about general probiotics. So it helps to produce lactase to potentially help those who are unable to tolerate lactose. It supports the colon and the bile acids. It helps to promote normal stool function. It helps to produce vitamin B12, folic acid, and vitamin B6. So what was really interesting when I heard Tom talk about this, he said that you actually need different strains of bacteria to break down fats, to break down carbohydrate, to break down proteins. And so that's why it's really important to have this good balance. It also helps to support healthy cholesterol levels, supports immune messages, and it also helps to protect against disease-causing bacteria. So all round, fantastic information there, I think, that's quite useful. And I just wanted to share also a little bit of a study that was done by the York Health Economics Consortium and Cochrane, and they wanted to demonstrate probiotic efficiency in reducing the number of common respiratory tract infections associated with antibiotic use. They actually did an analysis to estimate the public health budget and the consequences to the general public and the health budget for generalized probiotic use or consumption in the country of France. What they found with France is they found that generalized probiotic use would save 2.4 million days of common respiratory tract infections, huge, 291,000 antibiotic courses, and 581,000 sick days. So the evidence was overwhelming that really just so many benefits in taking a really good quality probiotic. So that study was just done generally on probiotics and not particularly our product, but based on all the information I've shared with you about our product compared to others, you can make up your own mind. So if you are interested in trying it, we have a great special running this month. So it's the Defense Pack, and we have some great products in there. You're going to get your Balanced D, you'll get your Supra Detox, you'll get Body Shield, another great product for the gut, helps to support the gut through giving the gut fulvic acid, and it helps with cell integrity of the lining. It also helps to support the body to remove heavy metals and also radiation exposure. So great product there as well. So you've got those three, and then you've also got Spectramax, another fantastic product. It's got your 74 trace minerals plus, it's got fulvic acid, it's got key vitamins in it, and it's like a mega tonic, easy for your body to absorb. So you get that in it as well. You also get the cucumber ham lime wash. So if you're using toxins, and you might want to think about switching to toxic-free products like the Sizzle hand wash, cucumber lime hand wash. Tom Senior actually said that it was his opinion that 60%, and obviously it would be based on research, that 60% of the toxins that we get in our body come through personal care use, and 40% comes from the food, water and air we breathe. So it's such a big deal that if you are putting these toxins on your skin, you probably don't want to after knowing that. So the cucumber ham lime wash is great. And then you actually get a bonus product, which is Influence. So this product really supports the immune system, particularly if someone's got the flu. It provides great support. So you get that product as a bonus. So definitely an awesome package this month, promotional package. So I invite you to try it if you're considering testing these out. And yeah, so that's all I had to share today. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.